Before we start, I need to say that this video contains a very difficult conversation. It's the kind of conversation that many families will face at some point in life. A doctor telling someone that their illness is terminal. This can be a very distressing subject, so please only watch if you feel comfortable doing so. But this video is important because understanding these conversations can help patients and families feel more prepared, ask the right questions, and make the most of the time they have. Let's begin.
Good afternoon, Tom. Thank you for coming in.
Good afternoon, Doctor. I have to admit, since I got the call this morning, it has been worrying me. I think something serious you have to tell me. This is from the tests last week.
You have come alone? I got your test results from the hospital this morning. Sadly, they are not so good. The treatment you are on is now failing.
So, I am going to die soon?
I'm so sorry. I'm afraid so.
How long do I have left?
I would estimate between 3 and 6 months.
Can I stay at home? I live alone.
If you wish to stay at home, that is not a problem. We can arrange care for you. However, as you stay alone, it may be better we arrange you to be admitted to a hospice. However, give it some thought. No need to decide right now.
Is it going to be a painful exit?
You should not suffer so much pain. Now we can control that aspect.
Oh, dear, how am I going to tell my daughter? I know it will distress her and she has a young family.
Let me make an appointment for you next week. Then we can discuss the situation further. Telling family can be difficult, I know. Next week, bring your daughter along. We can discuss all together.
Okay, Doctor, yes, I will see you next week. Thank you.
What you have just watched is one of the hardest conversations any person will ever have. When a doctor says an illness is terminal, it means that the illness can no longer be cured, and treatment is no longer working to stop the disease. But it does not mean that nothing can be done. There are important decisions to make, and important conversations to have, and understanding these can help people feel more in control and less afraid. The first thing many people want to understand is time. People often ask, "How long do I have?" Doctors cannot give exact dates, but they can often give an estimate and explain what to expect as the illness progresses. Knowing this helps people plan and make important decisions. The next thing to understand is palliative care. Palliative care focuses on comfort, pain control, and quality of life. It can include care at home, visits from nurses, help with pain, breathing problems, anxiety, and support for the family. Palliative care is not about giving up. It is about making the most of the time that remains. One very important decision is where you want to be cared for. Some people want to be at home. Some people feel safer in a hospital. Some choose a hospice. But if you have a preference, it is important to tell your family and your doctor. There are also practical matters that should be organized. This includes making a will, organizing finances, writing down passwords, and making sure important documents can be found. Doing this early can prevent a lot of stress and worry later for families. Some people also choose to make what is called an advanced decision. This includes decisions about resuscitation, life support, and when to stop medical treatment. These are very personal decisions, but making them known means your wishes will be respected. It is also important to talk to people. Talk to your family. Talk to your friends. Say the things you want to say. Many people find this time becomes a time of honesty, forgiveness, and important conversations. And finally, it is important to understand that many emotions are normal. Fear, anger, sadness, denial, even moments of acceptance. No one goes through this without emotional pain, and support from family, friends, counselors, nurses, or religious leaders can make a very big difference. A terminal diagnosis is not just a medical event. It is a life event, a family event, an emotional event, and a practical event. But with honest conversations, good care, and support, many people are able to find comfort, dignity, and even meaningful moments in the time that remains. I would just like to interject here with a short true story. Recently, a very good friend of mine was in hospital with stage 4 throat cancer, and his time was slipping away quickly. He could no longer eat solid food, and his breathing was being supported by a machine. He was very close to death. The doctor met with his wife at the bedside. Everyone believed he was in a coma. One of the doctors explained that, to keep him alive, they were going to insert a tube into his body so that they could continue feeding him. His wife nodded that she understood, but she said nothing, and the doctors left. When she looked back at her husband, she was shocked to see his eyes wide open, looking at her, as though he was trying to call her closer. She leaned down and put her ear close to his mouth to hear if he was trying to say something. In a very faint, rasping voice, he said, "I love you very much, darling, but no more pipes, please. Time to let me go." She kissed him, and with tears in her eyes, she went to find the doctors and gave them his message. They understood and respected his wishes. A short time later, a "Do Not Resuscitate" notice was placed by his bed. Early the next morning, he passed away. Sadly, it is not only the elderly who receive terminal diagnoses. Serious illness can affect people at any age. Children, teenagers, young parents, and people who expected to have many more years ahead of them. In this video, we have talked about the conversation that no one wants to have, and some of the things that people can do when they are faced with a terminal illness. In future videos, we will talk about other situations, other age groups, and other difficult conversations that families sometimes have to face. We will also look at specific illnesses, the decisions people may need to make, and where to find help and support. These are not easy subjects to talk about, but they are important subjects. Because at some point in life, most of us will face serious illness, either ourselves or with someone we love. I really hope this video will assist those that might be feeling they are in a dark place at this moment.